And welcome to Hindsight Tonight. I'm Damian Muziani, and here's your news. Leading off, week 2 of the second administration of President Donald Trump has courted pushback against abortion bans. In Mississippi, a state Senate Democrat introduced a bill called the Contraception Begins at Erection Act, which, if passed, would criminalize when any man, and I quote, discharges genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. How romantic. We think that Senator Bradford Blackmun is most probably just trolling about Mississippi's ban on abortion, but even as a joke, it makes no sense at all. At least in states where abortion is legal, a woman has the right to choose, but men there have zero rights, just like in Mississippi. But if they pop a boner climbing the rope in gym class, or have a nocturnal emission, or a Sydney Sweeney movie comes on, they might get popped in an even bigger way with a $1,000 fine. And speaking of pregnant wives, their husbands would also now have to stay flaccid for 9 long months, since you can't intend to fertilize that embryo twice. Meanwhile, the wife can masturbate all night long and make hubby sleep in the wet spot. I mean, it's not called Mr. Sippy, right? It's also not the least bit surprising that, according to U.S. News, out of all 50 U.S. states, Mississippi ranks dead last in economy, business environment, healthcare, and economic opportunity. And if this bill passes, they're going to have really lousy strip clubs, too. Speaking of unwanted boners, the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni feud makes us wish that Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt were still fighting again. So tedious. Lively filed sexual harassment charges against Baldoni after being directed by him in the movie It Ends With Us, saying that Baldoni touched her face and kissed her and said she smelled good. Baldoni, who until the lawsuit was basically anonymous to 90% of America, released film takes of the scene in question, which features the characters drinking, slow dancing, and falling in love in a bar, where kissing and face touching would just never happen in real life. Maybe the movie's supposed to take place in Mississippi, who knows? What the takes do show is Lively complaining to the director about stage markings, lighting, how big his nose is. You know, a director's dream actor. Lively's lawyer said that releasing the video footage is unethical and that the case should be tried in court, where words and opinions matter, not cinema-quality close-up video footage with sound. We don't know who's lying in this real-life drama, but based on the outtakes, we'd rather sit through Mr. and Mrs. Smith again before wasting 2 hours on this drivel. As Shakespeare once wrote, parting is such sweet sorrow. And it's even more sorrowful when the part is attached to you. Here with that story is Hindsight Tonight's Canadian field reporter, Jace Gabowry. Jace?
Hey, how's it going, eh? Hey, Damien, this one's not for the squeamish, you knob. This hoser up here in Alberta got drunk and stumbled out of the village pub. The cops showed up, and he was half naked, eh, with his pants dropped low, so they pinned him face down on the icy sidewalk, eh, and it was below freezing, and his little Billy Fackler was pressed on the ice, to coin a phrase. So I don't know if you've seen the movies Dumb and Dumber or A Christmas Story, eh, but when it gets cold out, human flesh gets superglued onto a frozen surface. You can try it with ice cubes just out of the drawer, eh? Well, you guessed it, the cops pulled him up like he just lost to Donnybrook, only his hog never left the pen, eh? Imagine getting circumcised at age 35. He wanted to get ripped that night, but it happened after he left the bar. He won't be getting much action now, eh? He might as well move to Mississippi. Damien?
Thank you, Jace. That was compelling and rich. And that's your news. Please give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with Fresh Hindsight.